kapasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng wataw at mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwalhating pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
We'd like to acknowledge now the presence of our Vice Chairperson, the Honorable Loreto Acharon, Vice Chairperson Maria Victoria Copilar, Congressman, our Deputy Majority Leader Wilter Palma, our Minority Leader Maria Victoria Copilar, our Deputy Majority Leader Wilter Palma, our Minority Leader Maria Victoria Copilar, former our Deputy Majority Leader Wilter. Now have the acknowledgement of our members of the committee and members of Congress who are with us in Zoom today.
Mr. Chair, the following are the members present in Zoom. The Honorable Senior Deputy Minority Leader Paul Ruiz Daza, Representative Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez, Representative Raul Angelo Gil Bongalon, Representative Zia Alonto Adjong, Representative Ramon Nolasco, Representative Isabel Maria Zamora, Representative Lordan G. Suwan, Representative Roy M. Loyola, Representative Franz Pumarian, Representative Alfred de los Santos, Representative Wawa Fortes, Representative Julian Jam Baronda, and Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzalez Jr.
Ms. Comsec, do we have a quorum for today's hearing?
Yes, Mr. Chair, more than the required in the rules.
The chair declares a quorum. We now would like to have our first, before we discuss this bill accompanying our resolution number 6, let me just give some short preliminary remarks. We thank you, dear colleagues, for your wholehearted support to last week's adoption of the resolution of both houses number 6. Resolution calling both houses, calling for a constitutional convention to propose amendments to or revision of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. The period of interpellation and debates will continue in the plenary this week. In today's meeting, we will continue with the deliberation of the implementing bill necessary to implement RBH 6. We have started with the provisions last Monday and ended in section 2 on the composition of the delegates. The Secretariat has inputted and distributed the refined draft, which details the hybrid composition of the Constitutional Convention and amendments to the qualifications of the delegates. Sectoral representatives will constitute 20% of the delegates to be jointly appointed by the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Those from the basic sectors follow the organizations as defined under Republic Act 8425, otherwise known as the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act. The appropriation language has also been rewritten to adapt to the style and form used on appropriation measures. As the distinguished members of this committee, we look forward to your participation and productive meeting. Thank you to all our participants. Let's now go to the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Any motion to approve the previous minutes?
Mr. Chair, Move for the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings held last week,
last Monday.
last Monday.
It's been moved by Congressman Wiltel Palma with the seconding motions from Congressman Acharon, Congressman Copilar. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. We now go to the consideration and approval of draft committee report. You have there in your seats, in your tables, this particular draft committee report on an unnumbered House bill entitled An Act Implementing Resolution of both Houses number 6 of the Congress of the Philippines calling for a constitutional convention to propose amendments to or revision of the 1987 Constitution, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Any motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
before anything else, just a point of clarification. In the event that we're going to approve the committee report, it will be forwarded to the committee on second reading. From there, we can introduce committee amendments as well as personal amendments. Would that be?
Yes, that will
correct?
be the proper procedure. Correct, Congressman Wilter Palma. But there will be some, right now, we are open to suggestions of the committee to further improve and to have amendments to the pending committee report that we have now.
Because if that's the case, then I will move for the approval of the committee report, subject to
Yes, yeah.
to
You
the
can
plenary.
do that, but we have also some amendments so that it will be clear where the sectoral representatives will come from. We have a law on that.
Meaning to say, the House bill, the consolidated bill muna ang i-ano natin
Yes.
prior to the committee report. Would
Yes.
that be all right? So I'll amend
Okay.
I'll rephrase my motion
Yeah.
to approve the unnumbered
House bill.
House bill number for its approval, subject to amendments, if any, in the plenary.
Yes.
So move, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved and move. Is this a second?
Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
Yes,
So then
Mr.
we can
Chair.
proceed with discussions. So the motion is to approve the committee report subject to amendments. So we are now first open
For the
for the amendment.
events.
Yes,
Okay.
on the bill.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, objection, Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Chairman.
so thank you for the objection. We will be
Yes,
discussing.
objection, Mr. Chair. That
Yes,
is,
objection is
yes.
noted and we will be able to discuss the whole committee report.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, just a point of clarification, because there is a provision with regards to appropriation. Before going to the second reading in the plenary, this will go through the appropriations committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This committee, but however, we tried to already define this by having a conference with the critical staff of the appropriations, but it will again go back there. Yes, because that will be always the procedure.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yeah, yes, I have a
Then
question.
direct to another committee.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, I would like to be mapaliwanagan po kung ano yung naging motion, tapos ano na po yung process after.
The motion is to approve the committee report as distributed to all the members. And then, but the motion, which was seconded, of course, there was an objection so that we can discuss it fully with the statement that there will be a subject amendments. So right now, the status is we will now be open for amendments to amend the motion of approving the entire House bill. So we now first we acknowledge the presence of Senior Vice Chairperson. We have Congressman Nonoy Defensor. Yes, Congressman Copilar.
The chair, for the amendments, in section 2, paragraph 2, after the word necessary, I propose to add as the last sentence, the following words, provided that all the
Page 4.
section 2, paragraph 2. After the word necessary, I propose to add as the last sentence, the following words, provided that all the sector delegates shall be selected from the basic sectors as defined and provided for under Republic Act 8425, otherwise known as the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act, Mr. Chair. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Does the proponent, the movant, accept? Congressman Ulter, will you accept the proposed amendments to add here so that clearly ma-define na rin where the sectorals will come from? After necessary.
Please repeat.
Kindly repeat, Congressman Copilar.
Yes, Mr. Chair, for amendments, Mr. Chair, in section 2, paragraph 2, after the word necessary, I propose to add as the last sentence the following words: provided that all the sector delegates shall be selected from the basic sectors as defined and provided for under Republic Act 8425, otherwise known as the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act. Mr. Chair, I so move, Mr. Chair.
To further clarify, who are the sectors stated? Yeah, for the sectoral. To further clarify, what does the law provide? The law provides the following basic sectors, namely farmer, peasant, artisanal fisher folk, workers in the formal and migrant workers, workers in the informal sector, indigenous peoples and cultural communities, women, differently abled persons, senior citizens, victims of calamities and disasters, youth, students, children, urban poor. So the appointing authority can get from this because we have already a listing. We have here on ahead of that is the listing of those specific recommended by Congress. But because because these are not inclusive, we are having this amendment to allow other sectors as stated in the Republic Act to be appointed by the President of the Senate and Speaker of the House. Is that clear to everyone? So the next question is, will the movant accept the proposed amendment? It's been accepted. So now there is a objection of the motion as amended by Congresswoman Arlene Brosas. And so we can now open the hearing for our discussions. We welcome the Honorable Dale Corvera, Congressman of Agusan del Norte. We also have present the Honorable Margarita Ignacia Nograles of Party List PBA. Thank you, on Zoom. Okay, so we now proceed with discussions of the bill. Those in Zoom can also just signify their intention to participate in the discussions, and you will be properly recognized. Thank you. Yeah, section by section. Yeah, I think no need.
Inano mo na lang yung may ayaw ka para at least.
Saan yung ayaw mo dito, Arlene?
He doesn't want the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
As we continue, we acknowledge the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Christine Singson Mihan.
Mr. Chair, may I just ask a clarification?
Yes,
from the
Senior Vice
Honorable-
Speaker. Yes, Defensor.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I hope the Honorable Brosas could identify the specific provisions to which she is opposed to. So the same could be addressed by the committee. We're very open and very inclusive to amend it if acceptable. So can we start with what specific provisions?
No, Mr. Chair, later na lang, Mr. Chair, siguro sa ending, kasi my questions are not per provisions, no? It is for the whole.
Would you like to have a manifestation before the vote or explanation after the vote?
No, I believe you're going to do it provision per provision, di ba?
If we're going to do it provision by provision, we also have, why can't we just specify what provisions you are opposed to?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, so that's the question of our senior deputy lead, our senior vice chair. Yes,
Mr.
Congressman
Chairman,
Paduano.
I think unless any other member except to Congressman Brosas will question each provision, already go through its, will propose to go through its provision. I think, except for Kong Brosas, nobody in this, members of the committee, unless in the Zoom. Now, there are members that wants to discuss by provision. But with regards to the members present, I think nobody is, asking to discuss by provision. That's why I joined the senior vice chair with regards to how we will approve and discuss and approve this bill for today. Na kung may mga question, diretso na lang doon sa mga provisions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any other comment on how?
Mr. Chair, if I may I just suggest that we'll give, anyway, each member is being given the draft House Bill number. And then from there, we'll study and then we'll bring this matter during the period of amendments in the floor.
Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. However, for the interest of everyone, including in Zoom, to know the provisions, each section, the chair declares that we will go section by section. We proceed with section 1. Can the secretary call? Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, first section. So we go section. If there's an objection in Zoom and in those physical present, we will accept those. We have also Chairman P.D. Barsaga. Thank you very much for your coming. Yes, and also the Honorable Assistant Majority Leader Richard Gomez is also recognized. Please proceed, COMSEC, section 1.
Section 1, short title, a constitutional convention is hereby constituted to propose amendments to or revision of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. This law shall be known as the Constitutional Convention Act.
Any question on this? Hearing none, we approve this section. Of course, with the always with our Congressman Brosas as an objection to the entire motion. That is noted. Thank you. Section 2, composition. Can the composition be read?
Section 2, composition as amended. The Constitutional Convention shall be composed of delegates, one from each of the existing legislative districts, who shall be chosen in an election to be held on October 30, 2023. The Constitutional Convention shall have sectoral representatives, which constitutes 20% of the total number of delegates, to be jointly appointed by the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The delegates shall include at least 3 retired members of the judiciary, 3 representatives from the academe, 2 economists, 2 representatives from the business sector, 2 from the labor sector, 2 representatives from the peasant and urban poor, 2 from the farmers and fisher folk, 2 from indigenous cultural communities, 2 from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, 2 from the women's sector, 2 from the youth sector, 2 from the veterans, 2 from the senior citizens and persons with disabilities, and representatives from such other sectors as the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives may determine as necessary, provided that all the sectoral delegates shall be selected from the basic sectors as defined and provided for under Republic Act 8425, otherwise known as the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act. The delegates to the Constitutional Convention must be of recognized probity, independence, nationalism, and patriotism. In addition, delegates must be individuals of national standing with recognized knowledge and competence in the Constitution and a deep understanding of the state and the principles which underlie its existence, organization, and activities, as well as of government and governance.
Yes. It is now open the floor for discussion on section 2. Any comment?
Mr.
I
Chair,
see Congressman Dale Colvera, you are recognized.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. On section 2, the sectoral representatives will be jointly appointed by the Senate President and the Speaker of the House.
That's right.
How does the appointment be processed, Mr. Chairman, considering that in this case there are 2 appointing authorities, the Senate President and the Speaker? How will you do in facilitating? What will you do in facilitating the?
There will be 2 signatories to the appointments.
You
2
mean,
appointing authorities.
They will agree first on who will be
Yes,
appointed.
if there's only one signature, it will not hold. So both should concur. So that is the way we're going to proceed with this. After all, this is a legislative act that we are doing.
And their
It's-
appointment will not be presented to the plenary of both houses.
No more, because
No
the
more.
law already would be giving them that authority. Otherwise, it will be a very tedious process. So that is what is envisioned here. So what is envisioned here is that there will be nominations from different sectors. And then the nominations will be submitted to the speaker and submitted also to the Senate President. So that then each one of them will consider the nominations, and then they will have to meet and be able to have a joint approval on whom both of them will appoint. So that is a procedure. Is the Honorable Del Corvera, my neighbor province of Agusan, satisfied? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
First, Congressman Coppola, and then Chairman PD Balsaga.
Yeah,
Please
Mr. Chair.
proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, for clarificatory questions, I would just like to know what is the wisdom behind why does the speaker or the House of or the Senate President will have the power to appoint in terms of delegations? Mr. Chair.
I understand the point. Congressman Copilar was my A student in San Sebastian Law. And precisely the point is, and I'm sure Chairman Presidi Barzaga will be able to come, is the power of the president to appoint. So those are things, and Dale is nodding here, because precisely, well, we are saying this is a legislative act. The Constitution provides for the president to have the appointing power, not specified which one. So that is where we can have this, because it's not what is specified are the heads of the departments and the others that are specified in the Constitution, the appointing authority. But here there is none. And since this is also our decision based on 2/3, where we are going to, it's already part of the constitutional power for us to call for a constitutional convention, then we may have that power. So that's the answer, Congressman Copilar. I know you. Yes. Is that you're satisfied, or we have to hear others also? Yeah, so we now go to Chairman PD Pasaga.
Just a clarification first, Mr. Chairman. How many delegates shall be elected?
We have 253 this congressional districts where one will be elected, and then we will have 20% as of the delegates appointed from sector.
All in all, there will be 253 elected delegates and there will be 30 appointed.
51 sectoral. 20%, 51 sectoral.
51.
51 sectoral.
So that constitute 303,
304.
304, sorry. Well, actually, I have my own proposed amendment.
Yes, please. We are always open for amendments on any section.
Composition of the Constitutional Convention. The Constitutional Convention shall be composed of 51 elected delegates, with 3 delegates being elected per region, and 40 delegates to be appointed by a committee composed by the President, Vice President, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House, who shall elect among themselves on who shall be the chairman of the Committee on Appointments. The appointees shall be of good moral character, with known probity and considered as experts in their respective fields, particularly health, agriculture, transportation, information, disaster resilience, economics, foreign investment, environment, labor, infrastructure, law, and such other experts in other fields as may be determined by the Committee on Appointments. And the various sectors in our community should be properly represented by at least one appointee for every sector, namely indigenous people, senior citizens, persons with disability, solo parents, LGBTQIA, women, youth, and other sectors which the appointing authorities may consider necessary. And let me provide the reasons insofar as my proposed amendment is concerned. It is the perception of some sectors of our society, and perhaps this is the existing political reality, that in most, if not in all cases, delegates to be elected shall have good chances of winning if they are supported openly or even tacitly by politicians in their respective congressional district. I think most of our colleagues would admit these conclusions. Therefore, to address this problem, I have proposed that there will be 3 delegates for each region, and considering that we have 17 regions, the total number of delegates would be 51. The issue that the delegates to be elected shall be supported by political dynasties to a certain extent would not hold water, because we know for a fact that no politician or political family controls one region. Taking also the proposal of former Chief Justice Uno that there shall be appointed members who are experts in their own fields, I propose that there would be 40 appointed members. These experts normally would not run in a constitutional convention election because they know for a fact that they would not be able to win unless they are supported by the party or the politicians in their respective districts. I have proposed that the appointing authorities shall be the President, the Vice President, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House. The President and the Vice President at present have a very high trust rating, 86% for both of them, based in the Okta survey in October 2022. The Supreme Court Chief Justice is known for his impartiality and fairness. The Senate President was duly elected by the 23 senators, and the Speaker of the House was elected by the supermajority of 313 members. All the congresspersons who chose the Speaker were elected by the voters in their respective congressional districts or the sectors which they represent regarding the party list delegates. The senators, however, were voted upon by the voters in the entire country. Our countrymen have reposed their confidence to the 4 elected officials as shown by the results of the election. I would like also to state it is not necessary that there must be 253 members to be elected. The 1987 Constitution was drafted and the final text was approved by 48 people. The delegates to the 1935 Constitutional Convention were only 98 delegates. And even the premiers of the 1787 Constitution of the United States of America were only 55. And therefore, I believe that 91 members in the Constitutional Convention will be already a sufficient number, not to mention that it would minimize the expenses insofar as election is concerned, together with the expenses during the holding of the convention. And so this is my proposal, Mr. Chairman. I have prepared a written proposal together with the reasons have been prepared by me, and furnishing a copy of this to the Honorable Chairman as well as to our COMSEC.
Thank you very much, Chairman PD. Before the movement would either accept or will not accept the proposal, I will just read therefore I would just acknowledge those present. With us now, physically present, is Senior Minority Leader Paul Daza. We have also with us the Honorable Veronica J. Lacson Noel, Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Ron Salo, Kabayan Party List, and the Honorable Jude Sidre, Deputy Majority Leader on Zoom. And we have with us Congresswoman Nograles is with us. Yes. Thank you very much, Migs. Margarita Mix Nograles is with us. So can we have the movement react to the
Mr.
proposal?
Chair,
Congressman Palma? Yes, who is this?
Ron Sala, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, you are recognized. Yeah, you are
Thank you.
recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Based on my proposal, Mr. Chair, under Section 5 of my proposed measure, I have proposed therein that the Constitutional Convention will be composed of 310, one delegate each from every legislative district, and the remaining seats shall be allocated to the party list system of registered national, regional, and sectoral parties or organizations. Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, whatever is the number of the delegates, it is my respectful proposal that 20% of this should be coming from the party list system. I understand that you have a definition here of sectoral representatives, but this particular definition, there's already an existing law, which is the party list system. So perhaps would be a lot better to make sure that the party list system will have their proper representation, will have our proper representation. Then 20%, what number would that be, would be coming from the party list system of existing registered regional, national, regional, sectoral parties or organizations. But at the same time, perhaps another percentage will be coming from the appointed delegates, particularly coming from the experts, from the academe, etc., Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Now we have two pending proposals, amendments, which let's proceed to the first one. First one really calls for a regional representation and the appointment of experts. We would like to ask now our movant whether he accepts that amendment.
Not accepted, Mr. Chair.
It's not accepted, so is the movant for the amendment appealing the to the committee, appealing the non-acceptance of the chairman of Congressman the
Well,
movant?
of course, considering that my proposal was not accepted by the movant, I'm appealing to the committee to consider this proposed amendment.
Okay, so now,
Notwithstanding,
yeah.
Yes,
please continue, Chair.
notwithstanding that the movement did not accept my appointment.
Yes, so now we have on the floor for voting. There is a motion
Mr.
for
Chair,
the approval.
Before we vote, Mr. Chair. I
Yes,
have a
you are
question.
recognized also.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a question to Congressman P.D. Barzaga. Mr. Chair, where is the party list system, or is it included in the 41?
We'll answer
You've
that
mentioned,
because
Mr.
I just received the proposal of Congressman Salo precisely provides for the present party list was represented here to also be part of the convention. So we'll go into that later because that will be the next amendment that we would like to ask the movement if you will accept. So it's
Mr.
not in the
It's
the Congressman Barzaga.
Well, actually, insofar as the party list system is concerned, we know for a fact that they are supposed to be the marginalized sector. And therefore, insofar as the marginalized sector is concerned, that is expressly provided because we have provisions for the appointment of the various sectors in our community who are actually marginalized, like the solo parents, like the persons with disability, like the senior citizens. And therefore, it is up to the appointing authority to determine who shall still be included in the marginalized sector if they feel that the proposed amendment does not cover all of the groups included in the marginalized sector, which right now are represented by the party list representatives.
Thank you, Congressman Barzaga. Is the Honorable Alin Rosas satisfied with the answer? Before we proceed to the vote, we also acknowledge the Honorable Emigdio Pitanhuaco III of the 2nd District of Rizal on Zoom. Thank you. So again, what is on the floor now is voting is the denial of the proposed amendments of Chairman Barzaga. And so a yes vote will mean that the decision of the movant will prevail, meaning the original text, and no vote will be against the proposal of Congressman Barzaga. So yes votes, we proceed with what is stated here, And a no vote will mean that Congressman Barsaga's proposal is accepted by the body. Okay, let us now go to voting. Those in favor of the motion and the decision of our chairman to maintain the present wording of our section 3 will say will raise their hand for those in the floor, and then for those on Zoom, they signify, manifest in the chat group and the chat section. Okay, so we'll give time to our Zoom participants to vote. So meantime, we will now acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Tony Pet Albano, my good friend, Deputy Majority Leader, being present on Zoom. Okay, we have the raising of hands in favor of the Congressman Palma's motion. Yeah. Hands, can we have the raising of hands in favor of Congressman Barsaga's motion? Congressman Palma, I'm sorry. Congressman Palma, the original text. Okay, yeah, original text. Thank you.
Mamaya ka pa naman eh.
Okay, so, yeah.
Later.
Takot sila sa
Mr. Chairman,
5.
Mr. Chairman,
Six.
On site.
Six inside. Yes, from Zoom, who is this?
Don Gonzales,
Hi. Please proceed.
Congressman Palma's proposal. Yes.
Yes, it is for the Congressman Palma's position. Yes. Who else from Zoom? We are now tabulating on Zoom. Yes, let us just wait for the tabulation. No. Okay, let me now declare, announce the votes
Mr.
on this
Chair?
motion. Yes,
How was my vote counted? Yeah, Mr.
Abstain?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Abstain.
Kasi
Okay, I put you
I
abstain.
am a may continuing objection po ako sa bill. So
Okay.
supposed to be abstained.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
With, on Zoom, with 9 votes affirmative, with no votes against or abstain, and physically 6 votes present out of 10, and 1 abstention. May we know the vote of Chair Prasaga?
Well,
Of course, no, right?
I will not be voting
Abstain. Okay,
Abstain.
so it's clear. Because we're going
because
to-
I think it would be unethical to vote on my own proposal.
Well, you know, we allow that because there is no
Okay,
prohibition.
If you allow that, then I'll
We
be
allow the
voting
vote of the
no.
yes of the
I'll be
proposed.
voting no.
Yeah, so 1 no vote. Okay, again, for section 2, the voting is 9 votes in the affirmative on Zoom, none against, and no abstention on Zoom. Physically, 6 votes present, and 6 votes are in favor, 1 no, and 1 abstain.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, please proceed before I recognize our Deputy Minority Leader.
well, I would like to manifest that I am reserving my right to propose this amendment during the plenary discussion, and I am also reserving my right to interpolate regarding this proposed law regarding the constitutional convention.
Well noted, Chairman Pasaga.
And thank you also for your decision to include my proposed amendment, and at the same time, I beg the indulgence of the chairman and all the members that I have to leave because I have to attend to the meeting of the Committee on Agriculture.
We
Thank
thank the
you very
presence
much.
of Chairman Basaga. Thank you very much. We will await your interpellation and your intervention in the plenary. Thank you very much. Another announcement, voting for Barsaga, you have also a no vote here from Congressman, my compadre, Representative Loyola. He votes for the Arsaga motion. All right, and now acknowledge this before our honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Bem Noel, Deputy Minority Leader, is also present on Zoom. Yes, may I hear? A physical already? I didn't see you. Okay, because I have no, now I wear my glasses. My very handsome friend, Bem Noel, is present. Welcome to the Committee on Constitutional Amendments. Yes, just to signify, according to our Deputy Minority Leader, signifies his abstention vote for this particular motion. So with those votes, amendment before we proceed. So those of Congress Barsaga is not carried. We go now first so the Barsaga motion is voted against. We now go to your acceptance or non-acceptance of the proposal of Congressman Ron Salo that the party list organizations be included in the sectoral appointments. Is that accepted or denied?
Denied, Mr. Chair, but the way I understand it, he's open to the 20%, not necessarily party list, but basically it's denied. Mr.
So in other words, Congressman Salo also said that since we see here already the list of sectoral representatives, so he may not. But let us hear from Congressman Salo. Would you appeal the decision of the movement?
Yes, Mr.
Congressman
Chair.
Salo, denying
Yes, Mr.
your
Chair.
proposed amendment.
May I respectfully request or appeal the decision of the movement for us to consider instead of identifying those particular sectors that we just state from part 20% coming from the party list system, because there's already a law and there's already a jurisprudence and this is already being implemented. Well, I don't think we still have to change or change the how it's being implemented now, Mr. Chair. And perhaps we can already include also a certain percentage of those coming from the, as you mentioned, the experts. So, Mr. Chair, once again, we appeal to the movement that perhaps we have to reconsider to make sure that 20% of the composition will already be coming from the party list system as recognized and as registered with the COMELEC as of the moment, Mr. Chair.
Is the movement, there's another request for reconsideration. Are you firm on the denial?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, denial is there. So we now go to a vote
Mr. Chair,
because there's an appeal. Before that, we hear also Congresswoman Nogral.
I just have a clarificatory question, Mr. Chair, on the proposal of the Honorable Salo in terms of the current party list system. To include, is it the ones that are currently elected or every party list that have registered during the elections? To
Yeah.
clarify that matter.
Very good
Mr. Chair.
question. So the question, Congressman Salo, from Congresswoman Nograles is, are you referring, when you said 20% of the party list system, are you referring to those who are now sitting in Congress, the party list organizations already having a seat in Congress, or are you referring to all those that are registered in the Commission on Election? Please answer.
Mr. Chair, it's both. It's inclusive.
Kong
Both.
Salo.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's inclusive. It's both. Both those already in Congress as well as those registered with COMELEC. So the universe is huge.
And
And
to add to that, Mr. Chair, to clarify again, so if it includes both, that means even the current sitting party list representative will be up for election as a delegate?
yes, the way it is proposed may bill, Mr. Chair, those that are already registered with the COMELEC will be given opportunity to participate. So not only those who are sitting, but also those who are registered with COMELEC as of the moment.
Okay, that's the
Mr.
answer
Chairman.
of Congressman Salo. Those who will be sitting may be considered for appointment, including those also in the list with the COMELEC. So that's the answer. Is you satisfied, Congresswoman?
Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, so now we go in first,
Mr. Chairman.
acknowledge, yeah, Congressman, our Deputy Majority Leader, Bong Teves. Welcome. Yes, Congressman Corvera.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that there is a law, RA 7941, which mentions specifically the sectors to be represented in Congress. I just don't know if all the sectors mentioned in the law are duly represented in Congress or are registered in COMELEC. Shall we not consider the sectors mentioned in this law, Mr. Chairman, to be included?
Yes,
Like for instance, there are already sectors being mentioned in the proposed legislation that we tackle today. But I think the sector of OFW and professional are not mentioned in the proposal that we are discussing right now.
yes, they are not. And in fact, in the law itself, there is already a statement on migrant workers is in the law. Workers in the formal sector and migrant workers. So therefore, they include the OFWs already. In other words, those, in addition to our list, the president can choose from this Republic Act, as mentioned, to add to.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the professional?
Professionals, we not here because they are not marginalized. No, these are not basic sectors. But if you will see here, we have here from the professional sector 3 retired members of the judiciary, and that is why I'm going to move also once we are through with the first movements that we add 2 from the lawyer sector because the economy sector is already here. 2 from the lawyers because aside from the justices, we need lawyers. Yeah, from the IBP, not necessarily. That's why I don't want to put IBP here because real lawyers. For example, Nery Colmenares, former Congressman Caloy Zarate. Goodness, they'll be good in this convention. That is why I put there later on my motion, lawyer sector, because they may not be representing my IBP. Yeah, but when you say IBP, they will be the ones deciding, and they will decide the president to be the one sitting. Okay, so anyway, is that clear, Oscar Colvera? Okay, we now go to a vote. The vote now is clarified. The vote of for the appeal. The appeal of the Congressman Salo. A yes vote goes to movement Wilter Palma, and no vote agrees with the motion of amendment of Congressman Salo. Let us now get the votes from those physically present, and for those on Zoom, kindly give your vote
Mr.
in the
Chair,
chat. Yes, in the chat section. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, sorry, but before we go to that vote, another clarificatory question.
Yes.
Because stated by Congressman Salo that the party list will be included as delegate. But there is the prohibition under section 5 of this bill, there is a prohibitory acts. Section 5, number 3, any person elected or appointed qualified as delegate to the convention should not be eligible to run for the office in the first local and national election to be held after the ratification of the post amendment so as to the 1987 Constitution or appointed to any government office or position while the convention is in session during a period of 1 year after its final adjournment. So Mr. Chair, pag sila considered resigned ba sila? Considered dapat automatic resign. Second, they cannot run to the next preceding election. So paano yung proposal ni Congressman Salo if it is automatic, the incumbent party list will be a representative as one of the delegate in the convention? Just a point of clarification, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, the answer of the chair is yes. The first section of section 5, first paragraph is that all, section 2, all holding public office.
Mr. Chair.
They run for delegate, they are ipso facto considered resigned from their position.
Mr. Chair.
And then become delegates, they cannot already be voted upon in the next election. They cannot run.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, including appointment also. Yes.
To clarify on your statement, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Because in the party list system, obviously there are 5 nominees. And if you get 1 seat, you get the first seat, right? Does that mean the entire party list or only just the representative will be ineligible to run for the next elections? Or if you
Only the person, only those who resign
currently,
or who run and who will win, who will run will not anymore be able to run in the next
only the
election.
representative, but not the party list itself will be.
No, not the party list,
disqualified.
only the person. It assumes to the person it's himself.
Thank you, Mr.
Because
Chair.
the party list can always have, so somebody resigns from the present members of Congress to run for the Constitutional Convention. So he has resigned and he cannot also run in the next convention, in the next election. Okay, let's go to the votes now
Mr. Chair.
before we go to other motions.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Noel.
in connection with the query of Congresswoman Nograles, no, because sa party list, ang binoboto po yung party list, hindi po yung tao. Maybe that's what she's trying to say. So other members of the party list groups who wants to participate can actually run.
That is correct. Now, as you see, the Supreme Court already ruled that while we vote on the party list, and we have a person who is already in Congress, and he has now reached 3 terms, it attaches to the person. He cannot run again, whether as party list again or even in district election. That is why there's an attachment to the person. That is the rule of the COMELEC.
Yes.
And so therefore, that is what it is. So therefore, once again, if we have a party list who is sitting now here and is going to resign and to run, he cannot anymore be able to run in the 2025 election, granting we approve this in 2024. Is the Honorable Bem Noel clarified?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
So let's announce the vote on the second. Okay, the vote.
Mr. Chair.
Who is this? Yeah, who's this?
Salo, Mr. Chair. Ron Salo.
Congressman Ron, yes, please
Opo.
proceed.
Yes, please. Clarification lang po doon sa pinopropose po natin na amendment, Mr. Chair. Sinasabi po natin dito na part ng composition will be coming from the party list system. Hindi po sinasabi, Mr. Chair, na kaming mga nakopo will be the one sitting there. Kundi will just be given the opportunity to participate also, to become part of the delegate. So ibig sabihin po nun, Mr. Chair, just like in the elections now, wherein the composition of the House of Representatives, 20% are coming from the party list. So dito rin po, yung propose po natin, Mr. Chair, 20% coming from the party list, whether sitting now or hindi nakaupo for as long as they are accredited by COMELEC. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well noted, and now we announce the vote. So we announce the vote now for those in favor of your motion or against your motion. So can we have a raising of votes? Yeah, voting na.
Mr. Chairman,
Dinay na niya.
dininay niya, di ba?
Ah,
So
deny.
we'll vote for the motion.
With the motion,
Yeah.
where,
Oh.
do the appeal.
Ito na.
We're now voting for the appeal of Congressman Ron Salo to the denial or the non-acceptance of his motion because he has given this to the floor. And so therefore, we ask those who are physically present, the raising of hands. Those in favor of the main motion,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Palma, we are now in the process of voting. And so
Mr.
we,
Chair,
yeah, but we always consider Congressman Nograles. Proceed.
just to clarify again, in a scenario for the party list system, because I'm discussing with Congressman Teves. So like we in PBA parties in my representation, I'm one seat. So if if the second nominee who did not get the seat in Congress right now will be the one to represent the party list in the in the convention, for example, then that means only the second nominee who will be part of the convention will be the one disallowed, barred
Yes,
to
correct.
run.
You are right.
But I will still keep my seat as a representative
That
of
is
PBA
correct.
currently and
If-
can still run.
It's correct.
Okay.
If Ron Salo's amendment is approved by the committee. Now, let's go to the vote.
Thank you, Mr.
Those
Chair.
who are in say yes with the raising of hand. If you are in favor of the main motion, the movant is Congressman Palma, and no vote is in favor of the appeal of Congressman Salo. Okay, now the yes votes for Congressman Palma's motion. Raising of hands. Those in favor, raise your hands. Two. Okay, two. All right. Those in favor the motion of Congressman Salo.
Mr. Chairman, I'll vote no because I am a co-author of Congressman Salo's proposal.
Thank you, thank you. Register the no vote. One. Who else? Two. No. Three. No. What's the vote of Vicky? No. Also yes. Okay. So
Chairman, please register my vote as abstain because in difference to Ron Salo, as a party list representative and myself also, it will be self-serving for me. For my party list. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So my vote is
not
abstain.
be self-serving here. So abstain. Okay. Now have the tabulation of those in.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah. Before that, Congressman Noel.
may I ask my vote to be recorded as an abstention?
Abstention. Okay.
While I belong to the party list system, I think we should leave it to the experts
All
and
right. Very good. So two abstention
to
and
represent
then
us.
three against. Abstention also.
Another abstention, Chairman.
Yes, abstention. 1, 2, 3. Okay, abstention and 4. So we have 4 abstention. Okay, let's have the vote of the Zoom members. Do you have that already? We are tabulating. Just sip your coffee and relax. Very interesting discussion. This will take time, but it's better to clarify every section. And that is why it's very good because we have to hear our party list also representatives. Thank you. Okay, let me announce the vote on this, on the delegates. On physically present, there is now Congressman Copilar did not get the first, that the yes is in favor of Congressman Palma and the no for Congressman Salo. Now, physically, there is a tie, 3 yes and 3 no. And then we have 4 abstention. And then from Zoom, we have yes for Congressman Palma, 8, and no 3, abstain 1. The yes votes have it. Okay, any more amendment? Aside from this
Mr.
2?
Chair,
Yes.
may mga nagpalit po, Mr. Chair, ng kailang boto sa Zoom. So baka pwedeng ulitin.
Yeah, again, the Zoom here is 8 votes in favor of the Palma resolution and no, meaning for you, is 3. 1 abstain.
May mga nagpapalit po, Mr. Chair, ng boto po nila sa Zoom. Baka pwedeng ulitin po yung pagbilang.
Pardon?
There are some who are changing their votes. For example, kung BH Herrera, kung Jill Bongalon, they changed it kung David Suarez, voted previously yes, then they changed it to no. Baka pwedeng pakiulit po yung bilang.
Okay. Oh, we suspend and we get the votes because yes, we can change votes.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Congressman Herrera's and sino pa? Who else? Is already recorded as no here. Who else? Herrera, who else? Bungalon. Also recorded. They already recorded. Already recorded the 3. Consalo already recorded the 3 that you said. Okay, so the chair now declares the yes vote to have been the yes vote has have it. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, just a manifestation, Mr. Chair.
Proceed, Congressman Salo.
Yes, same with the earlier manifestation by Congressman Barzaga. May I respectfully manifest my reservation to raise this matter at the floor. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. You can certainly, in the proper proceeding in the plenary, be able to interpolate on this matter, and I'll be very glad to answer your questions there. Thank you very much. So it should state first that the convention shall be composed of elected and appointed delegates, because standing alone, Section 2 would mean that all will be elected. So we will have it, the convention shall be composed of elected and appointed delegates, period. The elected delegates shall come from each of the existing legislative districts who shall be chosen in election to be held on October 30, 2023. Will the movement agree to clarify this section? The chair already appointed. So that in the first paragraph, indiyan na, election at saka appointment. Okay. Now, on the last, on the proviso provided, can I have the language now? Because it should be in addition to these sectors, provided, where's the provided that the additional sector delegate should be, that the additional sector delegate shall be selected, because we already have here. So my amendment there will be, it should be clear, the additional, because we already have here sectors. Additional shall come from, okay. Is that accepted by Congressman Palma? Provided that the additional sectoral delegates shall be selected from the basic sectors as defined.
Yes.
Accepted. So that's very clear. The additional ones from the what is listed here. Okay. With that, any other amendment? Hearing none, Section 2 is approved. All right. Section 3. No, Section 3.
Mr. Chair,
Qualifications.
May I be recognized, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Alin? Mr. Chair, I
Vice Chair,
propose to
Mr. President.
amend section 3 without changing the substance thereof. I move that it be amended to be reworded as follows. Section 3, qualifications. Elected and sectoral delegates shall be natural-born citizens of the Philippines and at least 25 years of age on the day of the election or appointment. Further, comma, an elected delegate, comma, who shall be at least a college degree holder, comma, must be a registered voter in the district in which the delegate shall be elected and a resident thereof for a period of not less than 1 year immediately preceding the day of the election, period. That's all, Mr. Chair. May I ask if the movant will accept the proposed rewording amendment of section 3?
Is the movant, will he accept the proposal of just the rewarding? It has the basic requirements to the rewarding of section 3 as read by our senior vice chairperson. Is that accepted?
Accepted.
Thank you very much. Is there any other objection to section 3 before we return to section 2? There is an amendment from the author himself in relations to the lawyers group. So section 3, any objection to section 3?
Mr. Chair,
As amended?
question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So section 3, Mr. Chair, elected delegate, we are talking of the elected delegate here, not the appointed. Paano ang qualifications ng appointed, Mr. Chair?
Let our senior vice chair answer
Mr.
that.
Chair, may I amend section 3 further to include that elected and appointed delegates shall be natural-born citizens at least 25 years of age on the day of the election or appointment, it's included there, and a college degree holder. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Is the movement accepting that?
Accepted.
It's been accepted. So thank you very much. Is there section for section 3 qualifications?
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Who is this?
Richard Gomez, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman, our Deputy Majority Leader, Richard Gomez. Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to expand also on the qualifications. If possible, since we are rewriting the Constitution, Mr. Chair, I believe that we should expand our qualifications and make it higher, no? College degree, yes, I agree, Mr. Chair. Resident voter, resident of the Philippines. I also would like to include that the members shall have no criminal conviction, must not be have a withstanding court case with participation in the drug trade, and must not have a behavior unbecoming of a Filipino with a good moral character, Mr. Chair. It has to be very strict since we are rewriting the Constitution, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so that's our movement accept the two proposed amendments. Is number 1, you have been convicted, and number 2, facing court charges. May we hear Congressman Palma?
Mr. Chair, just to add that the offense involved must be of moral turpitude in nature and must be of
Yes.
Thank you.
That's my, I joined Congressman Defensor manifestation.
Congressman Richard, what has been accepted from your proposal is that only those convicted by final judgment on cases involving moral turpitude. We cannot also, Congressman Richard, disqualify those with pending cases because they're still presumed innocent until a guilty verdict has become final. Is Congressman Congressman Gomez, does he accept the explanations of our proponents?
I agree and accept, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So there's no more conflict there. So please enter into the amendments that we add those who do not have a criminal conviction on final judgment involving cases of moral turpitude. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yes,
Arlene.
now, Mr. Chair, on section 3, now that you've moved na isama yung appointed sa elected and appointed, Mr. Chair, my question is, Kasi yung mga magsasaka, hindi naman sila nakakatapos. Sorry ganito talaga yung sitwasyon natin sa Pilipinas eh. Yung mga indigenous people, kailangan mo bigyan ng college degree dito, Mr. Chair. So yung qualifications dito, babagsak na sila dito pa lang, Mr. Chair. Now, sinabi natin, we would want na inclusive sila.
May I be
Diba?
recognized, Mr.
Mr.
Chair?
Chair. So,
To answer.
oo. Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'll let Eileen Rosas finish.
So kung ganun yung mangyayari, and they appoint sila, particularly yung mga tatamaan, yung peasant, indigenous people, 'di ba? Yes, oo. I brought it up, but
Yes.
then may irony dito, may
I've seen that.
problema dito, Mr. Chair, kasi
There is no problem. Let me now read to you what is section 3 as we are going to approve. Provided that except for the sectoral delegates. Yan. All other delegates shall be at least college degree holders and shall possess qualifications. So exempted ang sectoral. Okay. Okay. Very
Thank you,
clear.
Mr. Chair.
Diyan, no?
Kinaklaro ko lang, Mr. Chair. But of course,
Thank
I am nasa continuing opposition po ako. Pero
Yes,
kailangan ko
continuing opposition,
kasi klaro
it's
ito na mga particular section na ito,
Okay,
Mr.
yeah.
Chair. Thank you.
And we now acknowledge the presence with us now, the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, our Majority Leader, JJ Suarez. Thank you for your presence. Huh? Kaya, can we hear the move on for your proposed amendments?
Yeah, I propose for an additional 2 to be represented by a member of the IBP.
Lawyer sector na lang. From the lawyer sector. Kasi kung
Legal profession.
from the legal profession.
Okay.
Yeah, kasi kung IBP, mano na tayo dyan. Thank you. Any objection? Hearing none, the amendment is carried. So after 2 representatives, academe, we start first from the academe, 2 from the legal profession. Very good words from our Vice Chair.
Mr. Chair,
From the legal profession, yeah.
do we, Mr. Chair,
Yan.
how many now are appointed? We need 52,
Yes,
51.
That is why this will not
51?
be kulang ito, but we have this additional that the appointments from the different sectors.
To include the 2 from the legal profession.
Ano pa lang?
Ilan na?
Nakuhan lang ito.
Ha?
Nakulang pa eh. So only 3 plus 3 plus 2.
Mr. Chair, pwede namang ma-adjust ng Senate President at ng Speaker kung ano yung number of delegates
Yeah.
na provided that the minimum requirement under the chosen sectors are given.
Yes, 20%. Where is the 20% here?
Kasi Mr. Chair, the 2 is not, we need legal minds in the proposal. So the 2, I think it's not enough. 3 or 5? 3. 3. 3. Yeah. Okay. Make it 3.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yeah, may we know who is this on Zoom?
Mr. Gomez, Mr. Chair, Kong Gomez.
Gomez is represented, is now recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I was listening to Representative Arlene Brosas regarding the qualifications for the delegates, and I would like to, Mr. Chair, take this opportunity to bring to our attention. It is a very critical provision that will determine the composition and membership of our proposed constitutional convention. And I think that the reason why we need to expand the qualifications of the very people who will determine the highest law of the land, the rationale behind this, Mr. Chair, is that I believe that for Filipinos to be able to contribute to meaningful and effective provisions that will make up the highest law of our land. So the delegates must have relevant skills to be able to do this, Mr. Chair. The ability to read and write is, I think, a very broad qualification, and it does not assure us that a delegate possesses the ability, number one, to comprehend the issues and factors that have long-term implications of our entire community. Second, analyze and come up with effective solutions-driven provisions given the complex factors to be considered. And Mr. Chair, to articulate, which is very important, to articulate himself in the debates during the conduct of the convention. We cannot have a silent committee. We need somebody who can articulate and come up with relevant relevant laws in amending our constitution, Mr. Chair. So the read and write is too broad.
Thank you, Congressman Richard. Will you be agreeable that the exception be only from the sectoral delegates from the marginalized sector?
Even those in the marginalized sector, Mr. Chair, maraming mga mahihirap ang nakagraduate, nakapagtapos sa pag-aaral. Hindi naman lahat ng marginalized hindi nakapagtapos eh. Yun ang lumalabas sa discussion ngayong umaga.
Yes, it's noted. So we will just put here, because the statement of Congressman Rosas is that yung magsasaka, baka hindi nag-graduate ng college, high school lang or fourth year college lang. So therefore, would you agree that our amendment will be that except for the sector but delegates from the marginalized sectors? So that's clear. Marginalized sectors are provided for in the law. Is that agreeable, Congressman Richard? Only marginalized sectors. Will you accept?
No, Mr. Chair, I truly believe that even in the marginalized sector, we can find and we will definitely find those that have graduated in the marginalized sector. We will find those that have graduated college. Hindi ako naniniwala, Mr. Chair, na yung mga marginalized ay hindi ho nakagraduate ng college. Marami dyan nag-abogado, marami dyan naging engineer. So we can find them coming from the marginalized sector.
It is noted. Thank you very much, Congressman Richard, for your emphasis.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Copilar.
Yes, Mr. Chair, may I suggest from the members ng delegates, it's a medical profession eh. For future proofing lang like we have COVID pandemics, may I suggest that we also include as a delegate also from the medical field?
One or two?
Two probably.
When you
Mr.
put
Chair.
there, two from the medical profession, is that accepted?
Accepted.
Yes, two from the medical profession. Yes, after legal sector, legal profession sector, we have the medicals. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been
Mr.
accepted.
Mr. Chair,
Comsec, please, basta within the 20% tayo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Within.
no problem.
Thank you very much. So the medical profession will be represented by appointment. Thank you. So are we through with the qualifications? Okay. Okay. It's okay. So now we go to section 4, election of delegates. Any comment on this election of delegates held on the last Monday of October 2023 simultaneously with the barangay Sangguniang barangay elections? Pamilisa providers. Any question here? None? There's no objection. The section 4 is approved. All right. Section 5, prohibited acts. Any observation and comments on this particular provision? Prohibited acts. Vice Chair Loyola would like to speak. Compadre Roy, please take the floor.
yeah, Mr. Chair. First, I would like to make a proposal under section 2 by proposing an amendment that we include also a representative from the Cordillera Autonomous Region. We will be committing injustice that if we would not appoint a representative from CAR while we appoint representative from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
Congressman Roy, there will be elected delegates who are really from the Cordillera. That is why you are also right by saying that there should be from the, there is BARM, so there is should be Cordillera. The solution there is also to remove BARM because there are already our Muslim brothers and sisters in the district. Will the movement agree with that? So that hindi ba unequal ba? Tama si Congressman Loyola, meron tayong BARM, wala tayong Cordillera. But actually, our Muslim brothers and sisters are represented through the Muslim districts of our country. Would you agree that we take out here the BARMs because there will be our Muslim brothers from different Sulu and then Maguindanao and Lanao, they are Muslim brothers.
Yeah, in the interest of fairness, I accept that.
So Congressman Roy, we will not anymore put Cordillera because there are going to be representatives from the Cordillera region, and we removed two from the Bangsamoro. To
I
have a,
submit, Mr. Chair, to the wisdom of the chairman and the author of the bill, Mr. Chairman.
thank you very much. Thank you. So
May
we
I
now,
allowed to make a amendment to section 3, Mr. Chair?
now, so section 2, we have just removed through our author representation from BARM because we have our Muslim brothers already coming from the BARM area. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, but
Three,
allow
three.
me to make
Please
a
proceed.
proposed amendment to section 3 as to the qualification of the delegates, Mr. Chair. Under line 4, Mr. Chair, further, an elected delegate must be a registered voter in the district in which the delegate shall be elected and the resident thereof for a period of not less than 1 year immediately preceding the day of election, and must not be related within the fourth civil degree by blood or affinity to the incumbent local and national elected official.
Very good point, Compadre Roy. That's a very good disqualification. Now, will the movement accept this amendment? There's a prohibition for fourth degree, meaning nephew. So hindi lang cousin, nephew. So first degree to the parent, to the father, second degree is to brother, third degree will be to nephews and nieces.
This apply to all elected officials within the district.
No, all officials, not on this national officials.
Including-
Everybody, if you are related to a national official, national elected official, or
Appointed.
local, you cannot be elected as a delegate. This is
Including-
now the prohibition on dynasties.
Yes, including appointed.
Including appointed. Accepted?
Accepted.
Okay, so
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
This author.
anybody like to appeal from that acceptance?
Mr. Chair. Congressman Albano, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Ipet, recognize my favorite. Please proceed, Congressman Albano.
Mr. Chair, I object to that provision, knowing that the quality of people might be diminished. We know for a fact that just because you are a relative of a political national figure, should that also impinge on the right of the relative, especially if he or she is very much qualified, or is an attorney, or was a former CONCON delegate, and that restricts, that is very restrictive, Mr. Chair. So I appeal for the objection.
Thank you. There's an appeal. The movement is saying that there will be a disqualification of candidates or appointed or elected delegates to the convention who are related up to the fourth degree of consanguinity and affinity. And there is an objection from our Deputy Majority Leader, Tony Pet Albano. So we go into a vote. Very important. So vote. A yes vote would be in favor of the amendment, meaning to disqualify as delegates those related to elected national and local officials to the fourth civil degree of consanguinity and affinity. So let's have a yes vote in favor of that particular provision of disqualification. A no vote retains the original provision. So let us now have the vote. Those who are in favor, yes, raise your right hands for yes, disqualification to the fourth civil degree. Let's count, okay? Can those on Zoom also chat box, please give your vote. So those who are in favor of the disqualification, raise your right hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4. In those physically present. 3 against the proposal, disqualification. 1 abstain, Sibong, 1 abstain. Let us tabulate. Let's wait for the tabulation of the Zoom. A yes vote in Zoom means favor kayo sa disqualification for civil degree. A no vote will be for as is, no disqualification as far as relationship is concerned.
Abstain.
Parang kami ang four.
Yes, yes.
Si Gob, si Noel.
Yes, to be clear. 1, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 3. All right. Announce the vote. Okay. From the for those physically present, 4 is yes. No, 3. For Zoom, yes, 8. No, 6. By a vote of 1 majority, the no has it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Who is this?
Congressman Albano again, Mr. Chair.
Ano, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you for that. May I have be reserved the right to actually question this in plenary? Because I truly believe this is very restrictive, no less than, let's say, for example.
Tony Pet, you have won.
We have one. I thought that we okay.
Mistake, you have won. No votes won.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
you said physically present, 4 yes and 3 no. Sa Zoom, 8 yes and 6 no. That's 12 against 9.
In Zoom, we have yes is 4.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Was very, very interesting and very important. No. So we now go to section.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
are we in section 4 pa?
We're now in section 5 already.
Section 5, Mr.
prohibited
Chair.
acts.
Yes. I still have, meron pa po ako sa section 5, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, sa prohibition, baka pwede isama yung members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines as prohibition. CONCON must be an exercise of civilian supremacy.
Section 2 is here. Any person holding a public office position, whether elective or appointed, including members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, is here.
Kahit yung resigned, Mr.
Yeah, they are
Chair.
considered
Even-
resign upon filing certificate. Yes.
No, Mr. Chair. Kahit resigned, hindi sila pwedeng ma-appoint or ma-elect as con-con. Nandyan.
Sabi, they can file, but they are considered resigned. They can run.
Yes, Mr. Chair, my suggestion is, kahit
will not be-
resigned, we do not want to mix up the exercise of civilian functions and military functions, kahit to resign.
Chair, it will be difficult. It will be, denial of a right of a person to vote if he has no impediment already. So that's always allowed in the election code. So I think those who will resign may run for the district, and we cannot prevent them.
Okay.
Otherwise, if there's one prohibition, then we can prohibit others.
So, Mr. Chair, yung current lang na nakaupo, no? Yun yung prohibited. Okay. Sige.
Prohibited yung nakaupo. Otherwise, pag file nila, consider resign like any other official in government.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry, I was in the Agri Committee. My vote with regards to the amendments for political dynasty. My vote is no, Mr. Chairman.
No, so you add, so now
Yeah.
2 votes.
I don't believe in political dynasty.
10 already. We will register the vote of Congressman Paduano. So the vote stands at a majority of 2 for no. Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman.
I'm sorry, I have to go back to section 2
Yes.
with regard to composition. Would you want to consider from the field of science, Sana? I think yung sa medical profession is entirely different from
Mr.
It's-
Chair, may I just, meaning science include engineering, technologies, so on and so forth?
Yeah, sciences.
Science and or medical profession.
Because medical is already, it's a different.
Yeah, why don't we just include
for
that?
consideration, for consideration
Science
study
sector.
course,
We have
Mr. Chair.
scientists to come here from the science sector. Okay. Is that accepted by?
Accepted.
Yeah, two
Mr.
also
Chair.
from the sciences. How do you call that? From the science sector.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
may I be recognized?
yes, please proceed. Our senior vice chair first.
Can we close with finality section 2? Because if we add all the professions, all the industries, it will turn out to become the 1987 Constitution again, where we have sports, we have culture, we have science. We're trying to make a brief, concise constitution by amending the economic provisions. Maybe we can close with finality.
Is that a
Amendment.
motion after including 2 from the science sector?
Yes.
Is a motion to close.
With finality.
Any
section 2.
objection?
Motion to close.
Yes, who's this?
Ay, Kong Rida po, Chair. Rida. Good morning, yes.
Okay na? You second it? Okay, thank you, Chair Rida Robes. Thank you very much. Go back to section 5. Any more objection to section 5 on prohibitions? Okay. Hearing none, section 5 is approved. Consec, please proceed to the section 6.
Section 6 on who may convene. The chairman of the COMELEC, assisted by the secretary of the Senate and the secretary of the House of Representatives, shall initially take charge of all arrangements for the convening of the Constitutional Convention.
Any comment on this? Any objection? This is just a procedural one. The chairman of the COMELEC, assisted by the 2 secretaries, initially take charge of all arrangements. Yeah. Why will we have the chairman of the COMELEC take all the arrangements? Should be the secretary of the Senate and the state. The chairman is only in charge of the elections. Kasi the arrangements like we hope to put this in the PICC. Yeah. So I think not the COMELEC, because the COMELEC is only for election.
I agree. I agree.
So the Secretary of the Senate and the Secretary General of the House of Representatives shall take charge of all arrangements. Yes, sila talaga. For the convening of the Constitutional Convention. Any objection to that to that amendment? No objection. Section 6 amended is approved. It will be the 2 secretaries who will take the arrangements. Yes, on this convention, who may convene. Yeah. And of course, yes, commencement of session, section 7. Can you read Our COMSEC,
Section 7, commencement of session. The convention shall meet in the session hall of the House of Representatives on November 20, 2023 at 10 o'clock in the morning. The President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives shall jointly preside at its opening until a presiding officer is elected by the convention from among the delegates. The convention shall be deemed organized upon the election of the convention president and presiding officer, which shall be the first order of business.
any comment on this? No comment. So again, with the continued abstention of,
Mr. Chair?
yes.
Yes, oo. Kasi nakasaad November 20, tama ba? 2023?
yeah.
Magsisimula ang session ng CONCON.
Yeah, this is after 1 month of the election, October 30. So start na so that trabaho na. Okay? No
COMELEC
objection?
at Senate Secretary at House Secretary General, yan pa rin ba yung magko-convene?
No, it is the president now, the Senate, the Speaker.
President.
They will convene
President, Speaker.
until the election of the convention president who will preside. Okay?
Magkakaroon ba ng suspension of the session of Congress by that time, Mr. Chair?
In the morning, but it's also separate. They will have their own. Yeah. Morning naman ito, 10 o'clock. So wala pa tayong session nun. Hapon ng session natin. So they can be there.
It would mean magkakaroon ng session pa rin, hindi
Yes.
magkakaroon ng suspension ng.
3 p.m. naman tayo. So 10 o'clock ito. We will just preside.
Yes, I'm just asking, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
will there be a suspension of
No suspension.
Congress?
It's not envisioned here. Tuloy-tuloy.
Nakuha mo ako ng straw doon, sabi mo hingi ako ng straw.
Magpe-preside so with the Senate President. But anyway, it will be a 3 o'clock hour session. Tuloy. So, okay.
Okay,
So,
Mr.
that's
Chair.
clarified. So, Section 7 is approved. Section 8, can you kindly read Section 8?
Section 8, vacancy in the position of delegate. Whenever a vacancy occurs in the position of delegate, the Commission on Elections, upon due certification of the existence of such vacancy and recommendation by the convention, shall immediately call a special election to fill the vacancy, which election shall be held within 30 days from the date of the said call. Should the vacancy occur before the start of the convention, the Commission on Elections, after verification of the said vacancy, shall call and hold a special election as provided above.
Senior Vice Chairperson, Nonoy Defensor is recognized.
Mr. Chair, looking at Section 8 and Section 9, we will have the term for the CONCON from November 21, 2023 to June 30, 2024. That's only 7 months.
And still on Section 8.
Yes, on Section 8, filling a vacancy through a special election would be difficult for COMELEC, Mr. Chair. Calling another election would almost be physically impossible. If the chair and the moving officer will allow, I move that we amend Section 8 that filling a vacancy be made through the appointment by the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate President, since it would be very difficult to hold another special elections.
Why not delete the entire section?
Yes, Mr. Chair. if
So
you
it's
will
an
allow.
option to delete the entire section because mahirap na yung mag-election.
Yes.
Appointment naman, mahirap din to be appointed by the, will take time. Is there any objection to deletion of Section 8? Silent as a vacancy.
No objection, Mr.
No objection. Ano mo ba? Hearing no objection, it's approved. Delete Section 8. Yeah. Section 8 will now read. Can you kindly read the new section and in seriatim up to Section 18? They'll be
Section
amended.
8 will now read as term and emoluments. The term of office of the delegate shall be 7 months and 13 days, or from November 21, 2023 up to June 30, 2024. The office of the delegate shall be without compensation and shall not be compatible with any public office in the government or any government-owned or controlled corporations or any of their subsidiaries, provided that every delegate shall be entitled to a per diem of 10,000 pesos for every day of actual attendance in the convention or in any of its committees. Provided further that every delegate shall be entitled to necessary traveling expenses to and from his place of residence when attending sessions of the convention or any of its committees.
The floor is open for comments on this section. This is about the remuneration of our delegates, and it's 10,000 on our per diem for every day of actual attendance in the plenary session or in the committees. Any comment on this? How about the lodging for those who are not from Manila? Because 10,000 di makabayad din sa one a day. Or is this okay, Senior Vice President?
Mr. Chair, I
Okay na
move
ba
that
ito?
we include
Yes.
that provided further that every delegate shall be entitled to necessary traveling and lodging expenses.
Yes. And judging. That is the amendment. Any objection to that amendment? To include and lodging expenses? So that
Mr.
naman, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a question para sa
Yeah,
first
here
time
muna,
compensation.
first to the motion. None. Hearing none, the motion is approved. You include traveling and lodging expenses. Arlene Rosa, woman is now recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, magkano ba talaga yung buo, no, na gagastusin dito? Kasi parang naglagay lang tayo per dime. So ano talaga yung budget nitong
We have estimated with the secretariat, and it's about for the convention itself, 5 billion pesos.
5
Operating
billion?
by operating, yes.
Ako, napakalaki, Mr. Chair, no?
This will be properly be, this will be properly be discussed also in the plenary, and we will have the Committee on Appropriations look at this. Yeah.
Yun lang, Mr. Chair, no? Kasi magbibigay tayo ng compensation na 10,000 kada araw, lalahok na delegate ng CONCON. Tapos, hindi tayo nagbibigay ng dagdag na sahod ngayon para sa mga manggagawa natin, Mr. Chair. And you're asking for the 5B ulit nitong, Mr. Chair. Parang, nananawagan pa nga ng 10,000 na ayuda yung mga mamamayan natin sa ngayon, Mr. Chair, para sa makakompensate man lang sa mataas na presyo tsaka sa krisis na hinaharap nila, then we're doing this. Itong 5 billion ay nilalagay natin o ini-earmark natin dito, and we're asking for 10,000 sa bawat delegado na pupunta, Mr. Chair. Sa ano natin, I don't agree with it, Mr. Chair.
So you would be voting against
Yes,
this
Mr.
section?
Chair.
It's a vote against. Okay, there is an objection that I hear on this of the expense. May we now go into a vote?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, who's this?
Congressman Gomez, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Richard Gomez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The remuneration of 10,000 per day includes transportation and hotel expenses for the delegates.
No, excluded. There will be expenses for lodging and transportation covered by the budget.
So you mean to say, Mr. Chair, it will be more than 10,000 per day?
Yes, they're going to spend for the what is 10,000 a day. So therefore, we are going to have their transportation from their residence, and then lodging in Manila.
On my part, Mr. Chair, I think it's too expensive, Mr. Chair. I think 10,000 should cover for transportation and lodging already.
Okay, so you are proposing that it will be 10,000 is inclusive. Any objection from the body? Objecting to the only 10,000 only?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, because
Which is
if you are in the
objective.
province,
Yeah,
sa ngayon,
yeah,
yung 10,000 mo back and forth, tamang-tama lang yun sa airplane.
correct. Mhm.
So, what
Ano,
do you do with
Richard, kasi
10,000?
10,000 sa printer lang, ubos na. Ano pagkain naman ng delegate dito sa Manila?
Yes,
So-
Mr. Chair, you do not fly in and out every day. Unless you go home to Negros every day and then come back the following morning, then maybe you'll be spending 10,000 pesos a day. But since you are a delegate, you are understood to stay in a place near the convention center.
Any answer from Congressman Caraps?
Mr. Chairman, just like what we're doing now, every week we have to go back to the district or the province, so, and that's not daily. The convention will not be daily, on a daily basis, or daily. At least 5 times a week, siguro not 5 times a week. And that's around 50,000 a month, a week. And that's 200,000 a month. If that will be 5 days a week, Mr. Chairman.
That's correct. 5 days a week is the, but they may have committee hearings on Saturday and Sunday. Richard, are you maintaining your motion to have only 10,000? We'll put this into a vote.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm maintaining my position because we as representatives, our salary grade is not does not even cost at 10,000 a day. So I'm wondering how come delegates are given that much privilege.
Okay, it's been moved, but with an objection, those in favor of 10,000 plus traveling and lodging, raise your right hands for those physically present. Those present, okay? Okay, can you count the vote, Comsec? In favor, 1. Okay, 5 in favor, against the bill, the motion of Congressman Gomez. Those in favor, those against? The vote of the those on Zoom.
Yeah.
A
Mr.
vote-
Chair,
Yes,
yeah, I would like to say yes. I would like to give a vote sa sinabi po ni Kong Richard Gomez. At the same time, with Congresswoman Arlene Brosas, I empathize with her. But of course, in this kind of situation, lalo na we really wanted to improve the country, na maging matatag na Pilipinas, we have to give a little sacrifice. So yung sinasabi niyang pagtaas ng sweldo and all, darating naman po tayo lahat. May kanya-kanya naman pong budget yan na pinaglalaanan ng ating Speaker of the House. Yun lamang po.
we will again repeat what is to be voted on. A yes vote will restrict the remuneration per diem to only 10,000. No more lodging or no more transportation. A no vote will be in favor of the 10,000 and the lodging and transportation. Can we again see the vote? Those in favor of restricting the remuneration, the per diem to only 10,000 only. Again, raise your right hand. Is in favor here? Zero vote for the motion of Congressman Richard. Those who are in favor of having 10,000 per diem plus the transportation and lodging, raise your right hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 5 in favor, 5 against, no in favor. The decision of those in Zoom. Yes vote, only 10,000. No vote will be 10,000 per diem plus lodging and plus transportation. We'll await the vote. Yeah, from Zoom, anybody would like to speak? Wala naman.
Mr. Chair,
Richard, please.
I will reserve my my right to speak during the plenary with regards to remuneration, Mr. Chair.
Well noted.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Congressman Asidre. Yes, Congressman Asidre, yeah.
Mr. Chair, in the same section, terms and emoluments, the term of office has been limited to 7 months and 13 days.
Yes.
Therefore, their office will automatically be terminated by June 30,
That's correct.
2024. Mr. Chair, I would just want to know what is the scenario in case they are not yet done drafting the Constitution by that time?
If that is then we will not have any constitution. In other words, they have to finish by June 30.
So the whole exercise would
Yes.
be
Yeah, and they do not want that to happen. They want to finish the constitution. I'm very sure. Because if we don't put up a limit, you know what happened in the 7th Convention, it was about 2 years. Since martial law. So we don't want that to happen. It's too expensive. And they will say they're supreme, they're constituent. But if we only give a budget for this, that's it.
Would it be possible, Mr. Chair, to include a provision empowering Congress by a subsequent resolution to extend the term?
The chair is not disposed to extending it. These are things that have already been brought about, economic changes, and there may be some political, although our focus is economic. So therefore, we would like to them to finish at 7 months, which we will provide the budget for. So we will see how it will be, because there has to be a limit after the experience of 1971. Okay,
Chairman.
so is Congressman Asidre
Because I was just thinking, Mr. Chair, if would be some unforeseeable event that would happen. Let's say there would be something that would prevent members from working within that predetermined time frame.
Yeah, then Congress will have to come in case, because we can always have a supplemental, but as of now, it is what we have now.
I just
Right.
want to put that for the
Thank you
record,
very
Mr.
much.
Chair.
Thank you for that observation. Vice Chair?
Chairman,
Yes, Congressman Dasa is recognized.
along the same questioning, why was 7 months, 13 days chosen? It could have been 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
it is
what the
chosen
wisdom was.
because the election is October 30. After 1 month, then that is the start, because the time for the elections, the declaration, so forth, and the appointments. So November 30, and then since we have a deadline of June 30, my proposal was January 4, no, to start. But I think I agree with this, the more time, 7 months instead of 6 months. So that is the rationale. There's a deadline, June 30, and we start 1 month after the election.
Why, Chairman, June 30? What's the wisdom behind the June 30, 2024?
But we should be able to have this finished, that it can submit within a month to the COMELEC and then to Congress, and then we will start up the plebiscite 3 months after. So sometime in September. And so by 2024, this will be finished. The elections on 2025 will be based on the new constitution.
Meaning, Mr. Chair, obviously, the leadership and the committee and the leadership would want whatever amendments be done and voted on in a plebiscite by year end 2024.
That's correct, under the program, yeah.
And you mentioned that that the amendments will take effect, and you mentioned something about the next election, 2025. So that will be the controlling law for succeeding elections, including 2025.
That is correct. We will have a new constitution as duly approved in a plebiscite by the Filipino people.
Was there any discussion, Mr. Chair, on this deadline? Why not just synchronize the plebiscite to the 2025 election? Because it's just a yes or a no. It's just an additional box in the ballot for 2025, rather than spending again for a separate election in 2024.
It will take a long time, and our people cannot wait, especially on the economic provisions. And so therefore, we believe that is the proper timing. And normally it's like that. Plebiscites are done 3 months, within 3 months from law or from this one. So we would like to have this.
Okay, last question, Mr. Chair. I have continuing concerns on this, bill, but just to shed light for the committee and for the public and myself, in other constitutional conventions, like in 1971 or previous ones, is the 9 month or is the 7 month period within our historical precedents? Is that sufficient time?
No, in the 35 Constitution, it took them almost over a year until the 7 wise men drafted it. And then in the 1971 Declaration of Martial Law, it took them almost 2 years.
So why is the chairman supporting 7 months?
Because we believe that this should be economic reasons, and also we believe that we, the people, cannot wait for these amendments.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much for the questions. We entertain all questions, but before that, let me just announce the vote. Because here, those present for the remuneration saying no, in other words, it will be against the Gomez proposal, that aside from the 10,000, we have the lodging and the transportation on Zoom. Those in favor of the Gomez proposal, 2, those against 9. So clearly, we declare a vote of the present provisions, 10,000 per diem. And then we have to be given their transportation and their lodging expenses. Yes, so now we go now to,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, Congressman Corvera is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Still on section 9, term and emoluments. This section speaks only of the financial support to the delegate. How about the staff support, Mr. Chairman? Because the delegate cannot work efficiently without staff support.
At page 7 now, which is now 14. The amount necessary for the holding of the elections of the delegate shall be charged against any available and valid appropriations of the COMELEC in fiscal years 2022, 2023, 2023 General Appropriations Act. Thereafter, the amount necessary for the operations of the Constitutional Convention and the subsequent plebiscite shall be included in the Annual Appropriation Act.
Mr.
It's
Chair,
included.
shall we not specifically mention in the bill
The amount?
the staff support, how many employees you will be entitled to? And who will decide on that, Mr. Chair?
The rules will be decided by first by Congress. There will be an implementing one here by the Senate President and the Speaker on other details, like where will you hold it? So I thought at first to hold it here in the morning. But then people were saying, if nasa Congress, influence na naman kayo sa Congress. So PICC, so those are the minute details that our Congress will be able to present in the implementing rules on this. So thank you. So that at least it's clarified that all the operations will be part of the budget stated here. Thank you very much. Very good
Mr.
question.
Chair,
Yes,
follow-up question on that from mula kay Kong Dale Corbera. Yung sa appropriation, Mr. Chair, kasi we should be transparent to the people, right?
It's transparent and it's very clear here that the budget will be through the 2022-2023 budgets of the COMELEC.
Yes,
Unless for the other one. This is always the language of the Appropriations Committee.
yes,
We
but
do not
Mr.
put amounts
Chair,
there because there might be some in the Appropriations Committee, they might be able to see really how much is needed. And so then we have the COMELEC also, and we have the Speaker and the Senate President.
then how are we going to be transparent to the people kung hindi natin yan? Kung hindi yan nakalagay dyan, Mr. Chair, how do we report to the people ganito ang gagastusin niya and malaman nila kung ano yung
Well, the Appropriations Committee should be able
during the
even give us-
appropriations
and then we-
committee,
the
which is a
publication
public
by
hearing.
the Speaker. Yes, there will be. And there will be publication by the Speaker and the Senate President.
So we will know that
Yes.
during the deliberation sa committee on.
Normally, appropriations measures are always like this. It will be like this. But what our chairman said is that for the election to include a line in the ballot, it will be 1.5 billion because you have to have actually
1.5 billion, Mr.
billion,
Chair?
yeah, for the election because there will be another piece of paper because tapos na rin mainly ang mga ballots for the barangay.
Where is this coming from, yung 5 billion,
This
Mr.
comes
Chair?
from the fiscal year.
Mr. Chair, kasi meron kanina 5 billion for the emoluments, right?
The
Separate
operations.
yun for the operations. Ano po itong 1.5
This is for the
billion?
expenses as stated by Chairman Garcia, but precisely this will be found here, available appropriation to the COMELEC for fiscal years 2023.
So we
from
still
the
don't have a total kung ano yung lahat-lahat,
We
Mr.
cannot
Chair.
at this time because precisely it depends on the Committee on Appropriations. But these are
Okay.
estimates lang. So therefore, the Committee on Appropriations, I hope you'll be there so that practically there is already a figure. from the
Yes,
Committee on
Mr.
Appropriations. Because
Chair,
it's always the
kailangan po
language.
natin malaman.
Yeah, it's always the language, yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you very much. Go to section 10, parliamentary immunity. Comsec.
It's now section 9, Mr.
Section
Chair,
9
as
already.
amended, parliamentary immunity laws relative to parliamentary immunity of members of Congress shall be applicable to the delegates of the convention.
Any question here? There is parliamentary immunity, like members of Congress. While we are in session, nobody can be arrested for those with crimes less than 6 years.
Mr.
Hearing
Chair,
none?
can I
Yes,
just
please.
add for the duration of the convention? That's all, Mr. Chair. For
Uh,
the duration of the convention.
Shall be to the delegation. How do you add that? To the delegation convention
The last sentence.
during,
For the duration.
for the duration. Can you kindly add? It's very good. Also only for the duration. Functus officio na, duration of the convention. Okay? All right. Section 11, next section.
Section 10 as
Administrative
amended.
technical assistance.
Administration and technical assistance. All government entities, agencies, and instrumentalities, including the Senate and the House of Representatives, shall be at the disposal of the convention, including their personnel, office premises, and facilities as they can, in their judgment, be spared without detriment to the public service, without cost, refund, or additional pay.
Any objection here? It just makes our offices here open for assistance. Probably some secretariat may hold it here or what, so. Any objection there? Hearing none?
No, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, yung nakalagay dito, personnel of House and Senate shall be at the disposal of CONCON. Magdodoble silang trabaho, Mr. Chair.
It should not be at the disposal. It should mean that they're available because the CONCON cannot also insist on our personnel. So can you rephrase this?
Mhm.
Can somebody rephrase this? That it will not be at the disposal. In other words,
Oo.
here it says that
What is-
the CONCON can anytime get people from here.
Mr. Chair, can we
That is not the
revert it?
objective. Well,
Can we
yes,
revert
please.
it to read all government entities, agencies, and instrumentalities, including the Senate and the House of Representatives, shall be made available if
Yes.
necessary upon
Yes.
consent of the Speaker and the Senate President,
Mm.
including their personnel and facilities. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chair, just to clarify, Mr. Chair, meron siya sarili niya talagang operations.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
Kung may operations siya, meron siyang at disposal at 'di ba na ano niya talaga nagagawa.
Operations niya.
Hindi yung
Operational.
Senate and House people kasi tayo pa lang ngayon marami nang ginagawa eh.
Example, no, why we're saying it may be available if necessary. Our budget, office, and our research could be used in having CPRD can be used in other words, but always upon the
Consent
consent of the Speaker
and the
and the Senate. So please include that particular so that it's clear na hindi lang at the disposal nila tayo dito. Okay?
Technical assistance.
Shall be at the disposal. Okay. Any objection to that? No objection? Yeah, thank you.
Section 11, Your Honors, Convention Report. The convention shall submit its report to the President and the Congress of the Philippines, Congress of the Republic of the Philippines, and the Commission on Elections within 30 days from the completion of the consolidated amendments or on July 30, 2024.
Any comment on this?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Corvera.
I just would like to know the wisdom behind the inclusion of COMELEC in the submission of CONCON's report, Mr. Chair. Because I understand that the proposed bill is an implementation of both houses' number 6 resolution. Only that the COMELEC facilitates the election of delegates to the CONCON.
Yeah.
And that is related also to section 13, that the COMELEC shall issue such rules and regulations as may be necessary to carry out the purpose of this act. Because I understand, Mr. Chairman, that the role of the COMELEC is just in facilitating elections. But in the conduct of the convention now, COMELEC is no longer involved, Mr. Chairman.
A very good point. However, we have to give them the result itself because they will be preparing for the plebiscite. That's the reason why instead of submitting only here and then we submit to the COMELEC, we submit to both already so that they will now prepare for the plebiscite on the submitted report of the convention. So that is the answer to that. Is that okay? Thank you very much, Congressman Rivera. Any objection here? Hearing none, it is approved. Then section 12 now.
Section 12,
13 is 12.
Ratification. The amendments to the Constitution proposed by the Convention shall be valid when ratified by a majority of the votes cast in a plebiscite, which shall be held not earlier than 60 days, nor later than 90 days after the submission of the Convention report.
Any question here? Any objection? Hearing none, it's 60 to 90. That's always where our laws are always on those dates, especially for a new district and their election, 60 for the plebiscite. No objection, approved. Okay, section 13 now, 14 before.
COMELEC authority, the Commission on Elections shall issue such rules and regulations as may be necessary to carry out the purpose of this act.
Any objection? Hearing none, it is approved. Section 14, appropriations.
The amount necessary for the holding of the elections of delegates shall be charged against any available and valid appropriations of the COMELEC in the fiscal years 2022 and 2023 General Appropriations Act. Thereafter, the amount necessary for the operations of the Constitutional Convention and the subsequent plebiscite shall be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act.
With the continuing question of Congressman Brosas, hopefully in that appropriations meeting, you will be present so that, it will be clarified. How much is the election, and then how much total for the convention proper, and then the plebiscite. So any objection here? Yes.
Questions?
Yeah, question before we proceed to voting.
In general, I'm still not persuaded, Mr. Chair, on this proposed bill, but to help the committee and to help COMELEC, should this proceed, if you notice the language, Mr. Chair, it says any available and valid appropriations for 2022 and 2023. That wording is, I think, okay for 2023, but for 2022, there may be appropriated 2022 funds for COMELEC that may not be valid by the time the so-called CONCON will happen. There are certain appropriations that expire, from what I remember, first quarter, second quarter this year. If the committee wanted to help COMELEC maximize the funds that may be available, I would insert a language here, any available and some wording unutilized funds. And I would even take out valid, because DBM is very, very strict in releasing funds, and this may not be favorable. Just my initial thinking on that, Mr. Chair.
Very good observation to remove valid. Unused is already included in available.
Or I would just take available, just unutilized, 2022
Unutilized
unutilized.
already is included in available. It's available because it is unutilized. So we just get valid. Because anyway, the appropriations will have the right, always the right. But here we agree that we remove valid. Okay. For any available appropriations of the COMELEC in 2022, 2023. So thank you very much, Congressman Dasa. Any other observations?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
since we have already discussed the measure thoroughly,
That's it. We will just go into
that's
no objection to appropriations. I will approve this section.
yeah,
Yes, no objection. Section is approved. Next will be separability clause.
that's already
Ikaw.
yeah.
Okay.
Can we now proceed?
Yes, repealing clause. Okay. Effectivity.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Naman-
Yes.
Yeah,
any- Mr.
na ba siya, Mr. Chair?
Yes, going to move now.
Yes, Mr. Chair, sa last manifestation siguro, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please
Mis-
proceed with the manifestation.
Yes, before the manifestation, Mr. Chair, tanong ko lang, kasi dito sa, well, we're talking of the RBH 6 now, di ba? Sa plenary, Mr. Chair. Pero dito, consistent po ba tong bill na ito doon sa elected lahat ng delegado sa CONCON? Yun ang nakalagay sa RBH 6.
Our RBA 6 clearly specifies both elected and appointed members.
So hybrid.
Yeah,
In
hybrid.
this, in
Well,
this,
dito rin, same.
dito rin nakalagay.
Yes.
Nasaan po sa
Ayan, yung ating amendment kanina. Composition, the Constitutional Convention shall be composed of elected and appointed delegates. That was the amendment.
So that was
we
the
had.
revised
Yeah,
bill na
yeah,
Mr.
very clear
Mr.
na.
Chair. Yeah.
Mm.
Mr. Chair, meron po bang, kasi kanina pinag-usapan din yung appointing powers, no? The appointing powers of, did we include yung, tama ba? Senate President lang and House Speaker?
Yes. That's correct.
So sa ilalim po ng Constitution natin ngayon, meron po bang nakatakda na appointing powers?
No, none.
So saan po
Article
galing
17,
yung wisdom na ito, Mr. Chair?
So since we have appointments there, we have the plenary power, Congress, to have this particular CONCON appointed. The appointed delegates will be through our two heads of the two houses of Congress.
If we will be going back in history, meron po bang ganito na nangyari before?
No, because before it was an election by district, and it depends on the number of our constitution, our voters population, the population of each district. That's why Cagayan de Oro, as one district at a time, had 4 delegates. So there was no appointment necessary, all by election. But because hybrid ito, then we have the elections, and we deem it twice that it will be the speaker and the said president to preclude the president, because there will be some questions if the president will appoint, especially on this particular thing.
So, Mr. Chair, this is the very first time na
First time.
gagawin nito. Even yung mga taong bayan, first time nilang malalaman na ang mag-e-elect, mag-appoint at
Yes.
mag-e-elect ay mag-appoint ay Senate President and House Speaker, right?
That's correct, because in the past, there were no appointments.
Okay. As a last manifestation, Mr. Chair, no, bago siguro nais naming irehistro ang consistent na tindig, no, laban dito sa ginagawa natin na charter change, lalo sa ilalim ng administrasyong Marcos Jr. The last time we had CONCON was under the father of the president, no, Marcos Jr. Meron din noong resolution of both houses at accompanying bill gaya ng tinatalakay natin ngayon. Eventually, the CONCON produced the 1973 Constitution, further cemented the Marcos dictatorship. Hindi po dapat malimot ang mga pangyayaring ito habang nagtatalakay tayo ng ganitong measure or charter change, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, continuing pa rin ang aming hindi pagsang-ayon, ano, kahit po sa hybrid na CONCON na sinasabi na nakasaad dito sa RBH 6. And actually, we are questioning kung bakit nga Senate President and House Speaker have the appointing powers here, no? Saan nagmumula ang kapangyarihang ito? I understand kung merong reservations doon sa President and etc. And by continuing naman po na objection din dyan si Congressman PD Barzaga, no? Now, next, yung usapin po ng November 2023, magsisimula yung session ng CONCON, ikukonvene ng COMELEC at Senate. Now, tinanong ko po yan kanina kung magkakaroon ng suspension ng Kongreso, sinabi nyo naman hindi. Pero yung Section 11 states that Congress will lend its assistance to the conduct of CONCON. How will this affect us? No? And yung usapin po ng niraise ko din kanina, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, kung tama ba na kung lalahok sila sa mga CONCON amendments, sa tingin po natin, baka po pwede natin silang i-out doon sa sa usapin dahil civilian supremacy naman ang ating pinag-uusapan. And para sa per dime, sinasummarize ko lang, Mr. Chair, para sa per dime
for the record,
compensation, yes, for the record ng natin, yung 10,000 na ibibigay sa kada araw na lalahok sa delegado ng CONCON. Sabi namin kanina, halos minimum wage na ito ng isang manggagawa sa isang buwan. 'Di ba? Ang sumatotal po nagagastusin, sabi nyo, sa malalaman natin sa Committee on Appropriations. Then I've asked, meron bang transparency dito? Yan ang tanong natin. Ano? And again, sinasabi namin at nare-reiterate namin, ngayon nga hindi natin maibigay yung 10,000 ayuda para sa ating mga mamamayan. Ano? Medyo mahirap-hirap po itong tanggapin ng mga tao na hindi mataas yung presyo ng mga bilihin at may krisis, tapos meron tayong binabudget ngayon na ganito for the Constitutional Convention. Now, as a final manifestation, Mr. Chair, we are firm in our belief that amending or revising the Constitution will not directly address the urgent economic concerns of Filipino women and people. Kung may kinakailangang baguhin ngayon, hindi ang konstitusyon, kundi ang batas at patakaran na taliwas sa nationalist aspirations at demokratikong diwa ng 1987 Constitution. We fear that we are repeating a dark side of our history by pushing through with this CONCON accompanying bill. Muli itinatala po ng representasyong ito mula sa Gabriela Women's Party ang mariing pagtutol sa accompanying bill na ito na magpapatupad ng CONCON sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Marcos Jr. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Brosas, for those comments and manifestations. We now proceed with our minority leader, Paul Daza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chairman, before a member of the committee will move to approve this unnumbered House Bill number, may I ask, my understanding the title says an act implementing resolution of both houses, number 6. Is there now, to the best of your knowledge, is there now a similar resolution pending in the Senate?
The Senate, there is no resolution that is pending, except the resolution of the Senate Committee Chairman, Robin Hood Padilla, of constitutional change economic provisions through Constitutional Assembly. So there is none.
So meaning, Mr. Chair, even if we pass this bill in the House of Representatives, we would still have to wait for a similar bill to be passed in the Senate. And as of today, there is none.
We do not wait because once we approve this, it's sent to the Committee of Senator Padilla for their disposition of this particular resolution and bill. It does not mean that there is no bill filed there. The committee there cannot take cognizance. Our Senator Padilla has said that if there is, this is what we read yesterday, if there is, in fact, therefore, he is also admitting that there may be a constitutional convention. And he says, if there is a constitutional convention, he just makes sure that the party list system is removed. So there is no need that there should be a bill there. Like many of our bills. Many of our bills here, I send to the committees there, and the proper committees there will hear the bill, even if there's no counterpart bill. So does that answer our minority leader?
Okay.
Yes.
So at this point, there's really no assurance that this bill creating a constitutional convention will pass in the Senate, because there were previous stories and comments I remember before in our previous hearing. So as of today, just to clarify, what's pending in the Senate is a constituent assembly related bill. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, no, that's fair enough, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to really find out what the status is in the Senate. Now, if you continue to read the title of this bill, it says here, calling for a constitutional convention to propose amendments to or revisions of. Now, my understanding of revisions is basically more comprehensive changes or more comprehensive
Structural changes.
changes. It's a higher level of changes to amendments. Is that correct?
Correct.
So meaning, Mr. Chair, that the way the title is, this could cover all the articles, all the provisions of the existing constitution.
That's correct.
Now, in this proposed bill, Mr. Chair, is it correct? The committee had approved the composition, approved the duration of the said constitutional convention, and basically made there's language here limiting and defining how the CONCON will be composed and conducted. Is that correct? So if the pronouncement of the leadership of the House was that what we wanted to do was economic provisions, so why not, in the wisdom of the House of Representatives, include limiting language provisions in this bill to limit the discussion of said constitutional convention to economic provisions? We've already done that for the composition, duration, and all the other limiting factors, including eligibility, age, and all sorts of qualification. So wouldn't it make sense to include already in the bill the subject matter that can be opened up for said constitutional convention?
Yes, in fact, we are now defending the resolution about House number 6, and we expect a motion that this particular resolution will have the words focusing on the economic provisions in the resolution here. So if you want to put it here, we are open because any member can propose to include here economic provisions only.
Yeah.
But again, in a CONCON, that is precisely, we have constituent power there and they can consider political amendments.
Well,
That is the pleasure of the gentleman.
well, that's what, Mr. Chair, that's what some resource persons have said, but I'm in the view that the real supreme legislative power vests in the House and the Senate. And if the committee in its wisdom should include limiting parameters on what can be touched in the existing constitution, I think that nothing prohibits us from doing that. Somebody may file a case in the Supreme Court and challenge that. That would be another matter. But for us, for my constituents, and for the public, I think, and to make it easier for me to support this bill, I would include an additional provisions somewhere after Section 9 or around near Section 9 to include that the subject matter and agenda should be limited to, I wouldn't even use the word focused on, limited to, and I would already enumerate certain articles of the Constitution that will be discussed when they convene, Mr. Chair.
Yes, is the gentleman minded to propose an amendment that we can vote on it? Some limiting provisions on what section you'd like to put it here? No, that's really not, that is not really feasible also. It can say, it can make suggestions because you are the proper body, but ultimately, really, once the convention is convened, they have constituent plenary powers.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if I may,
please.
since we are calling for a constitutional convention, who can prevent any member of the CONCON not to tackle or tinker from Article 1 to the last article that they may wish to, unless we limit ourselves to CONAS, where limited through its amendments only.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Chair, may I respond?
Yes, please.
That was my initial thinking, Mr. Chair, the thinking of the Honorable Palma. But having gone through literally line by line on this proposed bill, it sparked in my mind that if we already put all these different parameters that creates the convention, that there may not be, it may make more sense to already include, because the leadership seems to be dead set on pushing for the constitutional convention to limit the economic provisions language, limiting it to that. Now, that's my initial thought. I'm not sure if my colleagues would want me to make in the committee propose amendments or maybe down the road in the plenary. I just wanted to bring that up to the chair and to my colleagues.
Thank you. It is well noted. And the concern of the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader is well noted. Okay. So I have a motion now.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, since we have already discussed the measure thoroughly, I move for the approval of the same in substitution of House Bill number 4926, 6698, 6805, 6920, entitled An Act Implementing Resolution of both Houses number 6 of the Congress of the Philippines calling for a constitutional convention to propose amendments to or revision of the 1987 Constitution, appropriating funds thereof and for other purposes, subject to form and style. So move, Mr. Chair.
Move in a second. It's been seconded that we now approve this bill accompanying resolution both of houses. Is there any objection?
Continuing objection, Mr. Chair.
Objected to by Congresswoman Arlene Brosas. We are ready for a vote. In view, yes.
Okay, you're gonna take a vote?
Yeah, we're going to take the
Will
vote.
it be nominal or just?
Nominal. Nominal voting so that we can get the, no, it will be a majority vote. So we will have an announcement of the majority. All right. So the vote now, those who are present, those in favor of the motion, raise your right hands. 8 in favor. Those present, who is against? 2. 2 are against. Okay. So then can we have the tabulation from the our members who are present in Zoom? Okay.
Can Okay, let me announce the vote. All right. For Zoom,
in favor of the motion is 6. 6 in favor. No, 0, abstain 0. The total now with 8 here present in favor and 6, we have 14. And then the no votes is 2, abstention is 0. So a vote of, okay, again, 14 in favor of the motion for this bill that will accompany resolution of both houses number 6, calling for a constitutional convention, 14 in favor in this committee, 2 against, abstention, none. With that,
Mr. Chair, sorry, I think we are 8 in Zoom. 8 po kami sa Zoom.
can you,
Including me and Kong Jamboranga.
so it's 8, who's this?
8. Kong Rida.
Plus 2, all right?
We're 8.
Yes, our tabulator says plus 2. So that will be 8 plus 8, 16. Now we again have the announcement of the votes, the final vote. Zoom has 8. So therefore, present 8, in Zoom 8, 16. 2 against and abstention 0. With
Mr.
that,
Chair, again, sorry, we are 9 because Congressman Janet Garin came in, said yes also. 9.
can you check our tabulator? Is Congresswoman Garin already included in the 6 or no?
No, no.
Also? Okay, sige. So it's a confirm, no vote yet for Janet Garin. With Janet Garin, it is now 9. 9 plus 8, it is 17 in favor and 2 against and abstention 0. With that, we declare that this bill has been approved by the committee. We will have a recess for 10 minutes so that we will tackle the committee report.
Mr. Chair.
No, break muna tayo so that ikuha natin. Okay, I'll just go to the reason for the breaks. I have to go to the conference room.
Di ba ito na yun?
We resume now for the voting of the committee report on the bill accompanying the resolution.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
move that we approve the committee report containing the substitute bill with amendments that the committee has just approved, subject to form and style.
It's been moved and seconded by Congressman Isidro. Yes. Now, we call this to a vote. Those in favor, for those physically present, raise your right hands. And the committee shall count. And the Congressman Corvera has approached me outside. He is voting yes vote. He is now leaving because he has some important meetings. Now how many again, including the vote of Congressman Corvera? 7 votes. Those against? 1 is. We will count the vote also of Arlene. 2 against. It is counted. No need to rush, Arlene. Already, your vote is already counted. And then, so in favor is how many?
That's 7.
7 against 2 against 7 in favor, 2 against. How about our members who are on Zoom? Kindly give your votes to the chat. Manifested as co-author, would others who are here in favor, would you wish to become co-authors of this bill? Because here we have Congressman Mix Nograles, already Congresswoman Mix Nograles, manifesting her desire to be an author. Is that accepted? Yes,
Mr. Chair.
motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, please, Congressman.
Mr.
Isidro.
Chair, I move that those who wish to be co-authors of the said measure be considered as such.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Those present who wish to be co-authors of this, signify your names, give your names to our
Mr.
concept,
Chair,
including those on Zoom. So chat box, put your name if you wish to be co-author of this. So is the vote ready? Yeah, the vote is here. Okay, here's the vote for those on Zoom. On Zoom, 10 in favor. No votes, 0. So total, physical and on Zoom, 7 plus 10 is 17. And then no is 2. A total of 2, no abstention. So the chair declares that the committee report has been approved by a vote of 17 in favor and 2 against. So declared. Yes.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
The motion to first, those co-author, please. So are the co-authors? And on Zoom, kindly
Mr.
put
Chair.
in the chat box if you wish to be a co-author.
We already did, Mr. Chair.
Already, yeah. So can we read now the co-authors? On Zoom, these are the co-authors. And here are Attorney Bongalon. Speaker Lord Alan Pasco, Congresswoman Jam Baronda, Congressman Suarez, Congresswoman Singson Mehan, Deputy Speaker, Chair Rida Robes, Congressman Nolasco, Congressman Suarez. So there are 2 Suarezes. Can you check their names so that we can put their, and then Franz Pomaran, Congressman Franz, Congressman Sandro Gonzalez, and Congressman Wowo Fortis Fortes, happy birthday.
Mr. Chair.
Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, who is this?
Kong Richard Gomez.
Congressman Gomez, and then followed by Deputy Speaker Dong
Gonzales.
Lord
Don
Ansu,
Gonzales.
a colleague in the first district, vote is also a co-author. And who else? Congressman Richard Gomez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to manifest to make me a
Gonzales.
co-author, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, Kino pa?
Did my name, si Chairman, Don Gonzales.
Wilson Palma is also there, and the others were physically present. And you
Mr.
put their
Chair, may
names?
I also be included as co-author.
Who is this, please? Ay, Jay is
Jay
here.
Lacson Noel.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Chair.
very much for your physical presence, Jay Lacson and Noel. Okay, so with that,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, did you include my name, Don Gonzales?
yes, you are included now, Deputy Speaker Don Gonzales.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
tanong ko lang, kailan ang APRO, Mr. Chair?
Pero I think will be Wednesday. They have the regular meeting. Tomorrow, Tuesday. Ano ba boss? Tuesday,
Pero wala sa agenda. Pwede sasama pa ba yun?
anyway, for the then kindly inform, COMSEC kindly inform Arlene Rosas. And
Yes,
also,
Mr. Chair.
especially, so they'll be present in the Committee on Appropriations. Yes.
Yes, if it's possible, Mr. Chair, kasi sa Viber lang nagkakaroon ng announcement. So, Mr. Chair, if it's possible sa email ng lahat, ipasa and itawag. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. Take note of that, COMSEC. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so,
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the ML Bong Teves and the ML Alfred de los Santos also manifested as being co-author, and also Congressman Tanwatco.
thank you very much for the co-authorship. Scarabs. Paduano.
Pardon, sir, pardon.
Okay,
Representative Paduano po.
now we entertain a motion, the favorite motion. It's been moved to, seconded that we adjourn hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, everyone.